Hi, I'm Brandon Cross with Node of Texas, and today I'm going to talk a little bit about Microsoft's Azure platform and how it compares to the Amazon EC2 cloud platform, and what the difference between the two of those is and how it affects the future of computing. So here we have Microsoft Azure. It's been getting some press in the news, specifically today, because they just had a big event where they broke out a lot of new features about Azure, and they made the Azure platform much more appealing to people that are trying to migrate to it. Most people aren't familiar with what Azure is. Azure is the future Microsoft hosting platform. Microsoft has said, we want to make our very own platform to host all of the infrastructure that businesses might need to run. And instead of having those businesses supporting the infrastructure like they traditionally do, an IT guy like me, for example, will usually be out there supporting a server that we've set up for somebody. So I'll go out to a business, I'll install a server, and the software vendor for the accounting software for the client will come in there and install the accounting software on it, and then the client will connect their employees to it and run it all. That's great. So I can take that server running at the physical location there, and I can push that server now up to, let's say, Amazon EC2. And I can run that whole entire server, that whole office, all that infrastructure that I physically built. Now I can take the server away, get the server out of the broom closet. I've been saying that now for about the last 4 years. And get those servers out of the broom closet, push it up to the internet, push it to the cloud. So Amazon EC2 can run this server as it is in its original configuration and everything, and it emulates the hardware. It virtualizes the hardware essentially that the operating system that has the software that the business needs to access is running. Amazon is doing that, and that's more of a traditional cloud solid model. What Microsoft Azure is doing is a little totally different. They're building the same, solid data centers that are these giant, massive data centers that have, huge computing capacity. And what they're doing is they're providing, instead of saying, here, we're going to give you the ability to install and run your virtualized instance of our Microsoft Server 2008 operating system like Amazon EC2 is, instead, Microsoft is saying, no, we're going to provide you with a different version of Microsoft Server 2008. It's going to be a modified version, a cloud-optimized version, and your software is going to have to be explicitly compatible with this new version of server, this new cloud-based version of server. And we're going to make it really easy for you to run your software in this new virtual server environment that we've created. We're going to create programming hooks for your software developers to actually hook into these different special services that we've built. So at first the whole thing was super confusing. What are they doing? Nobody understood it. It was just mind-blowing. And but it started to shape up and make more sense. And suddenly now what you have is the ability for, let's say, an accounting software manufacturer to do some simple modifications to their code and then have that whole entire installation now running in Microsoft Azure. This really is a big deal because this is called a platform as a service. Amazon EC2 is more of an infrastructure as a service. They're providing the infrastructure, but you're still supporting the platform that's running your software. So Microsoft said, instead of just doing that infrastructure and then having the tech experts of the clients actually doing the infrastructure or the platform support, we're going to take over the platform support. We're going to get that out of the mix. So all you have to do is slap in your applications and then access your applications over the internet. And that may sound real scary from a lot of security points of views and different things, but there's a great deal of these encryption links that they've made between data centers and the software that's running out on the desktops basically in the future and different things there. We're going to see more of that. I just wanted to cover that real briefly. That's kind of a little explanation of Azure. I'll get more into it in some other videos later. But what we're focusing on here is platform as a service. They're managing the whole platform. Your software vendor manages their software. Now your IT infrastructure back at your office becomes so much more simplified. There's no servers involved. There's no server operating systems involved. The higher level engineers and technicians that cost more, that are traditionally more difficult to access and get a hold of and have good expertise, those guys are less relevant in the Azure world because now Microsoft is really handling that whole entire realm. So there's some interesting things coming, and I hope that now you understand a little bit more of the difference between Amazon and Microsoft and how their cloud strategies are being approached. This is Brandon Cross from Node LLC in Texas at www.nodetx.com.